Player 4 Podcast's first t-shirt is now on sale at tpublic.com. Ever wonder what it takes to make a good podcast? We've already done the math for you and put it on a t-shirt. Visit our storefront at tpublic.com/user/P4podcast and get yours today. That's tpublic.com/user/P4podcast.
This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game.
Something to intro the Player 4 Podcast. Player 4 Podcast!
So much effort.
I like it. I like it. Hello, I am Tristan, aka Shagrazir, on the Rooster Teeth website.
I'm Alex, a.k.a. Chaos Black 21.
I am Malachi, a.k.a. Sukikiba.
I am Joseph, a.k.a. Jay Dunlap, and who else is sitting at this table?
And I am Shoban, a.k.a. Shoban, on the Rooster Teeth website.
No, it's a.k.a. Nabos.
No, it's Shoban again.
So you're Nabos, a.k.a. Shoban.
Yeah, I decided to change it back again. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go with my real name again.
By the time this episode comes out, you will have changed it again.
Probably.
You should do it just to spite him. I like that Malachi didn't say "and" this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm proud of Malachi.
I'm proud of you.
Proud right now.
I listen sometimes.
Sometimes.
Welcome to episode 59 of the Rooster Teeth, the Player 4 Podcast.
Rooster Teeth Podcast.
Now, this week we'll be talking about an announcement from the RT SideQuest. We'll be reliving vicariously with Malachi for Season 2 of Red vs. Blue. Joseph is then going to talk to us about his theory about Season 14 of Red vs. Blue. And then we're bringing back the table reading with Shoban.
We're bringing all of our stuff back.
Sure. My fan theory doesn't really have to do with Season 14. It was actually written several years ago with a friend of mine, so it'd be interesting to reread this and see how it corresponds with anything new that's occurred. But I think it was a theory back after, like, Season 11 or 12, around there. Maybe even after Season 10, honestly.
All right, then. Well, we'll hear about that right after reliving vicariously, according to the schedule.
Yes, but first we have to hear about the announcement that happened. What is the new small?
Alex, tell me about RT SideQuest.
RT SideQuest is officially back, and their first event is going to be RTX SideQuest 2016.
Woo! That's great news after all we were hearing about it not being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they have brought it back because the fact that Monday is 4th of July, we will not have the Salt Lick farewell luncheon.
Dope.
So that's a little disappointing, but they still have the charity auction on Thursday night before RTX, and then they have the Barlympics on Saturday, and the SideQuest Lounge / RTX wrap-up party at Buffalo Billiards on
Sunday.
Shunday.
I do love that Buffalo Billiards place. They have the good foods and the good games.
That was actually, it's always been kind of the highlight of my weekend, getting to hang out at Buffalo Billiards 2 nights in a row. Even as a Spectre, you know, even being just you cannot go up the stairs.
None shall pass.
Anyways, this came after the fact that they were able to find a new CEO for RT SideQuest. Her name is Amber. She goes by Super Duper Yay. I know on Twitter. I don't know. I'm assuming that's also her name on our Rooster Teeth, but I can't say for sure.
Yes, I actually was. I checked it out, and her name is Super Duper Yay on the Rooster Teeth website.
All right. So that's what all of us were saying when we found out the RTX SideQuest was coming back.
Super Duper Yay!
They're like, oh, you already know our CEO. Oh,
What?
It'll be fun if and when we get her on P4.
What, next guest?
Maybe, who knows?
Perhaps we won't go so long and have to split it into 2 parts like we did with Grady.
That would be a nice taste, wouldn't it?
I think Grady just likes to exercise.
Wait, did we have to break it up twice?
No, there was just the one right before RTX had to be split in two. The first time, of course, that we had to split an episode in two was thanks to Andres.
Yes.
We got all the talker guests.
Yeah, and then there's...
not chatting us into 2 episodes.
Yeah, Shoban almost did. He wanted to talk about DJing until the cows came home.
And chicken wings.
And chicken wings!
We're gonna owe you chicken wings during that 72-hour performance you're gonna put on for RTX this year.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so good. You know what? Let's not retread over the chicken wings and all that stuff, because
let's just say we're now outer bound to do it. It's official on the internet.
I've been podcasting for like an hour 45, no, 2 hours now, because I was doing Draw 4 and now I'm doing this and I'm actually quite hungry. So we can stop talking about chicken wings anytime. That'll be fine.
So,
Unfortunately, now you have to hear me talk.
Yes.
All right, Malachi, can we relive vicariously? How was your experience with Season 2?
I got through half of it because I forgot to watch it, and then I was like, oh, hey, I gotta watch it before podcast.
After the conversation we had last week where I was like, you could watch half a season at a time, you're like, no, I'm doing it.
I did, but I watched half a season at least.
So we're falling back to the plan B.
So, yeah. No, I did, I got through quite a bit. The humor is always so good in it because it's very friend oriented. One of my favorite parts was when they were. Oh wait, no, my brain just crashed.
So what actually happened in this first half of season 2? We're not really reliving vicariously because they're not telling us what's happening.
Lopez just fixed Sheila, and both the Tex and Church went into Caboose's mind to try to stop the AI. O'Malley.
That's always a good time in Caboose's mind.
One of my favorite little jokes was the different names they gave for pacifists or pacifism. That was so good. It was just like, really?
No, dude, that's a pedophile. Tucker, I think he means a pacifier.
And it was a great idea where they put the switch on Lopez. You know exactly where they were going with that, and they did so much with it.
Now you understand what I said last week. I'm not going to jiggle your switch.
Wiggle your dongle.
No, pull my dongle was Gary.
Just wiggle it, dude. I'm not wiggling your dongle.
And then he can't turn around and they think he's being shy.
He's shy!
You were telling me earlier, Malachi, about the conversation that Sarge and Simmons had about his uncle.
That was terrible. He's like, Did you see something strange?
Yes.
Oh, you talking about the uncle with the garden hose and why?
I keep telling you, it's not my uncle.
It wasn't my uncle. I keep telling people.
So many. I gotta watch that like over and over so I can actually memorize some of the things in it because there are quite a few really good jokes in it.
Following that episode was the April Fool's episode where they pretended that was the last episode ever and everyone died or something.
And it was a marriage.
Sarge and Simmons died. They got blown up by that was just before that. It's because Lopez blew up the warthog as it was coming toward him.
You mean Puma?
Doc and Donut gonna get married?
The Puma. And Tucker and Doc were gonna get married.
And Sarge ate through the dirt.
You left me my spoon. No, that's right. I ate my way out.
It tastes like
kind of gross. All right, so
anyways.
Moving on from that.
Check back later.
Got really excited last week when I mentioned being shot in the head and having CPR performed.
Oh, are we moving on from reliving vicariously now?
No, he didn't do CPR. He rubbed his neck with some Oh, wait, no, that was Caboose.
That was the toe.
That was Caboose with the toe.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, Red, I want you to give me one of them their therapeutic massages. That feels good. Don't be afraid to go too low. Okay, so bullet wound to the head. Immediately last week, my brain went to this fan theory that my friend Josh and I worked on several years ago. and Josh now actually works at Rooster Teeth. So this was entitled The Loose Plot Points of Red vs. Blue Seasons 1 through 5 and Their Possible Connections to the Freelancer Project. Malachi, I can skip the parts that spoil Seasons 1 through 5, or you can just accept them.
just accept it.
Run, Malachi,
I'll
run!
try to forget about it.
Because it'd be cool if you were, like, watching it trying to see if my theory makes sense.
Go for it.
Okay.
Goodbye,
Because this is like, it was like late at night chatting on Facebook, going off the deep end with fan theories kind of stuff. There's a lot of it that kind of doesn't make any sense, but I thought it was kind of cool. So here's how it goes. It says, let's get to the point. The plot points of Red vs. Blue Seasons 1 through 5, surrounding the prophecy of Tucker's sword, Andy the bomb, Crunchbite the alien, and primarily Gary the computer, seemed to have been abandoned at the end of Season 5. And explained away by revealing that Gary is actually the AI known as Gamma. What follows is a theory that attempts to make a connection between the major plot points of the Blood Gulch Chronicles, Seasons 1 through 5, and the current, as I say, Freelancer Chronicles, Seasons 6 through 10. So I think we were in Season 10 at the time. In this context, Season 1 can be summarized by 2 key points. The first point is the fact that Agent Tex is still called a freelancer. In fact, Tex and Doc are the only 2 characters with a connection to Central Command, and Doc doesn't count, because he appears as in the dark about things as the soldiers who are stationed on Blood Gulch. Based on the end of Season 10, one can assume that after Tex uncovers the conspiracy involving the AI and the freelancers begin fighting each other, something happens to cause some freelancers to go rogue, and others to continue working for what becomes known as Central Command. The fact that Tex continues to do work as a freelancer brings up a lot of other theories and explanations, many centering around the fact that, like Church, Tex is in fact an AI. The reasons for Agent Tex continuing to work as a freelancer after the events of Season 10, however, are not relevant to this theory. The fact remains that the main tie between Season 1 and the Freelancer Chronicles is Tex. The second key point of Season 1 is the deaths of both Church and Tex. Both characters appear to come back as ghosts and, quote, possess the bodies of 2 robots made by Sarge, but we later learn that they're both AIs created supposedly by the director. However, the significance of this fact is not apparent until much, much later. So what we know since then is that Church is a copy of the director, and he's also Alpha, and that Tex is a copy of Allison, is that right?
His wife.
Of his wife, yeah. The only plot point that conflicts with the idea that Church is an AI is when, after Church possesses Sarge, Season 1, Episode 14, Caboose shoots Sarge, with the telemoscope, and sends him to the spirit world, Season 1, Episode 15.
Yes.
Church has a brief conversation with Sarge in the spirit world, and then Sarge is resuscitated by Griff. Unless Sarge is also an AI, in parentheses, which could also open up an entire theory that every single member of both Red and Blue Team are AI, specifically cloned to provide simulations for the freelancers, which would make sense when one considers how many times different characters should have died but didn't, but this theory does not conflict with the current theory, so we'll move on. Then Sarge did indeed become a ghost for a short while, and have a conversation with Church in the spirit world. Barring the possibility that all members of Red and Blue Team are AIs, then Church is, as an AI, could simply have access to what we consider to be the spirit world as a mode of hidden travel. However, there's a second and possibly more accurate theory regarding the spirit world encounter based on Season 8, Episodes 11 through 12. In Season 8, Caboose asks Sheila to activate Lockdown to stop Agent Tex from continuing her rampage of beating members of Teams Red and Blue to a pulp. Lockdown not only resembles the spirit world of Season 1, Episode 15, but requires an AI to activate, makes the target simultaneously helpless and invulnerable, and requires an agent to respond to the subsequent beacon and recover the agent in Lockdown. The fact that Red and Blue Team are wearing the same armor as the freelancers coupled with AI slots is established many times. Because of this, when Church, who is still out of touch with the fact that he is an AI, believes himself to be possessing one of the soldiers in Blood Gulch, he's actually filling their AI slots, and doing something that is no doubt simultaneously possible and strongly discouraged, an AI taking control of the host. And I say here, perhaps we'll see more of this in Season 11, and it's debatable whether we actually did. So, continuing on. So according to this theory, a subroutine of Church, aka Alpha, senses within a split second that Caboose is attempting to shoot Sarge, and Church subconsciously activates Lockdown. Sarge becomes helpless, and everyone, including Church, assumes he's dead. Since both Sarge and Church are within the armor at the moment of the lockdown, they both become trapped in what they believe to be the spirit world. There are no beacons to activate in Blood Gulch, meaning no freelancers can come to end Sarge's lockdown, so they're basically screwed. Luckily, Church's subroutines begin to focus on the lockdown. Due to Church being unaware that he's controlling the lockdown ends prematurely, and Sarge believes himself to have come back to life after a near-death experience from CPR. For a bullet wound to the head. Supposedly, the trauma of the situation, believing himself to have died, causes him to forget the entire incident. So then, Tex dies in the final episode of Season 1, Episode 19, and Church and Tex spend the majority of Season 2 as free AI. In the final episodes of Season 2, a prisoner transfer has been arranged, and then Sarge puts them in robot bodies in exchange for Donut. Sarge reveals to Simmons that he put a special modification in the robot intended for Church, which the primary modification is that he implanted the 10 megaton bomb. So here's where things get a little crazy. The theory I'm proposing states that Sarge built the 10 megaton bomb based on blueprints he obtained from Vic. The blueprints Vic sent Sarge, however, were actually for a bomb, possibly in part an EMP burst, that would disable every soldier within a certain radius. If Sarge told Vic his reason for needing the bomb, Vic could easily have come up with a plan that I will now outline. In episode 40, which is in season 3, Freelancer Wyoming is introduced. He's currently on a mission, but gets a phone call from an unknown source hiring him to do a job. In the next episode, O'Malley, the Omega AI controlling Doc, calls Vic at Central Command saying first, "Now to bring together my enemies." At first, Vic doesn't answer because O'Malley, "You don't come up on caller ID, dude." Then O'Malley starts to leave a voicemail. Vic recognizes O'Malley's voice and finally answers, after which O'Malley states he has called in his bounty hunter to take care of the red and blue problem, which can only refer to one thing. It's a widely accepted theory that during Season 2, when Tucker discovers that Vic is the contact for both Red and Blue Command, and begins to try to tell both Red and Blue Team that Red and Blue are the same, Vic and O'Malley conspire to have Wyoming, who is a former freelancer working as an assassin, kill Tucker before the secret becomes known. That's when he says, "Spell it with a T or F, do you?" The name song. Banana, Fana, never mind. So, while many believe Vic to be working for O'Malley, the theory...
That joke went over my head back then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spell it with a T or F, do you? While many believe Vic to be working for O'Malley, the theory being stated here is that O'Malley, or at least Omega specifically, is taking orders from Vic, because he then says, "Thanks for turning that around so quick." And the phone call in episode 41 is actually Omega checking in with Vic, that he ordered the hit on Tucker as requested. So he says, "Thanks for turning that around so quickly." Inevitably, the bomb that Vic gave Sarge the plans for is armed by one of the incompetent soldiers of Red and Blue teams. Bleep bloop, more button pushing. Once the bomb is armed, O'Malley's weather machine, quote unquote, then starts the countdown for the bomb's detonation when it is in range. In line with O'Malley's plan to bring together his enemies, which is actually Vic's plan to bring them within range of the weather machine. Wyoming arrives at the last moment and shoots the rocket lawn chair out of Tucker's hands before he can stop the bomb from going off. The bomb then detonates, emitting an EMP pulse that puts all the suits in lockdown. That's my theory. So Wyoming is immediately taken out of lockdown by Gamma, his AI, who very well could be part of the plans. Vic then contacts him and gives him a new set of orders. Since he's not yet killed Tucker, they decide to keep Tucker alive, along with the rest of the Red and Blue team. Wyoming, following his orders, transports them to a remote location. In the future now! And he supplies them with armor upgrades so they can think that they've traveled forward in time. They're that easy to fool. However, he's also ordered to take Church to Zanzibar and plugs him into the computer system because he's Omega. Red and Blue team conveniently find a abandoned Warthog through which they receive the message on the radio, and nobody was monkeying about. And Tex predictably has found the base, and she calls her back up. So they hear it, and then Tex builds the bomb out of spare parts, she builds Andy, then they infiltrate the base, and then Tucker finds the sword. So the sword was planted there by Wyoming, and Tucker finds it. Gamma immediately is notified, so he knows how to describe the person who finds the sword. So he awakens Alpha in the computer, says, "I'm Gary the computer," and tells him, "You have to go back in time to stop the prophecy from being fulfilled because someone in blue armor found the sword." It's concocted, and Church thinks he's going back in time, attempting to stop events that have led to this point. However, it's a time loop, because that's Gamma's ability, is time loops.
Yeah.
He's tricking him in the computer. During this time loop, he thinks that he's doing all these things, but really, he's just stuck in the computer. So Caboose plants Andy in the base. In the computer, Church thinks that he found a solution to this scenario that Gamma's been simulating. Gamma, being a portion of Alpha, has already predicted what Alpha would do, with an estimate of how long it'll take. So Wyoming yanks Church from the computer, puts him in the robot body, and then Church saves his friends from the bomb exploding. So why else would Church be sent forward in time specifically to when the bomb is about to go off? That's the question. So what follows is the result of the prophecy that Gamma and Vic concocted. Vic hires an alien who Caboose nicknames Crunchbite, the alien who only loves, to pose as a disciple of the Great Destroyer, which retroactively was Tucker. Tucker and Caboose set off on the quest, and then Crunchbite impregnates Tucker. The reason is actually never explained.
There are a lot of things that ended up being retconned as the series continued.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like a lot of the stuff that happened in earlier seasons ended up with no real logical explanation, like especially when considered in the context of the current seasons. Why would Wyoming transplant the Alpha module when everybody in the remainder of the freelancers is trying to obtain the Alpha module?
Yo, definitely. There are holes in it. When they get to their destination, that's where Wyoming assassinates Crunchbite. So then the rest of the seasons 4 and 5 are easy to explain based on the theory. Blue Team believes that his entire goal was to use Junior to enslave aliens, but why did Church ask Andy to blow up when Tex attempted to take Junior? Did Andy actually blow up? And did Tex know he was armed and throw him out of the ship? And those questions were never answered.
And why is Andy an AI given to a bomb that's only purpose is to blow up when they've made it clear that AI are really hard to get their hands on?
Yeah, so there's plenty
and
of...
why does Andy start with an A if he's not the Alpha unit?
Oh, that's true. Could he be one of the AI?
He may be.
So
maybe he's some dude on a radio plugged into the bomb, and they're talking to some guy with a remote detonator and a walkie-talkie.
That would be amazing.
He's just posing as an AI.
Okay, fanfiction.
Oh my god.
Hashtag fanfiction. That was like 3 pages of talking.
It was about 3 to 4 pages, but that's my theory. I like the lockdown theory. I think that was intended. They just didn't come out and say it. But there was also I liked Vic having the idea of not actually making the bomb, but actually making an EMP and all that. And the time loop thing, that made a lot more sense to me than what actually happens.
I think that's rather sound. It's just when you go back and you look at like season 1 and try to say, well, Sarge didn't have a near-death experience, it was actually AI lockdown. It's like, well, no, Sarge did have a near-death experience because when that happened, he was a ghost. Church was a ghost in that season. They hadn't developed the idea that he was an AI.
Yeah.
Sheila was there too, though.
She was
there.
So it could be AI lockdown. But you're right, it was a retcon to make him an AI. And at that point, they were like, oh yeah, when he's a ghost, he's just an AI, you know, they do that. And then they even utilized that in the Freelancer Chronicles by having, like, tiny ghost AIs, as well as Out of Mind.
I just also like his conversation during the Freelancer Chronicles with Agent Washington, when Wash is like, the EMP is going to shut you down, because you're an AI. He's like, nah, I'm a ghost, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
He still hadn't accepted it.
Alright, Shoban, how are you doing?
Shoban, how are you doing?
I'm not bad. Just been really busy at work for the past couple months.
Oh yeah, what are you doing at work?
It's the beginning of the year, so this is usually the time where everybody wants to get everything done right now before everyone goes on vacation.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, we need to do this. Okay. We need this done by next week. Okay. And we're not going to give it to you until Thursday. Well, great.
Awesome. So we know you're a DJ in your free time. What do you do at work? What field is your actual job, paying job in?
I work in the finance industry. I work for a bank. Yeah. Long story short, if you were to get a loan from a bank, anytime you get a loan from the bank or you borrow money, there are always those stipulations for how much money you could borrow, as well as maybe how much you need to pay back and sort of information like that.
Yeah.
I look at that ideology in terms of companies that we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to make sure that they are compliant. So if in the legal agreements, they say that they need to provide us with quarterly financials or if they're working on a project to build a new building, they need to provide us with construction reports, or they need to provide us with engineering reports. So we have to
God, you're a lawyer speak cop.
Yeah, yeah. So
Thank you, Mr. Truant officer. I'll go back to school now.
Yeah, that's basically that. Yeah, that's what we are. That is exactly what we are.
I can't believe there's somebody out there who's policing the lawyer speak.
Yep.
It is my job to look at the lawyer speak and then hand it to somebody else and have them summarize it for me.
Yep. We basically take that, we read it, we have to understand it, and then we have to do a write-up about it and then tell our bosses why or why not we should still be giving these people money.
God, I'm not even doing it, and I hate your job.
Now you see why I DJ on the side.
Gotta mix it up.
There you go. Just, you know how boring it is to try to go through 300 pages and come up with an answer of, should we still do business with these guys?
Sorry, I fell asleep 3 pages in. I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, I only got past the table of contents. That's it.
Yeah, people have got, man.
I read the description on the back.
This somewhere. Can I get, like, the Cliff's Notes?
They have to physically break apart they have to print out the PDF copy, take out the parts they need, rescan it into a PDF copy, and then just read that because it's too much for them.
Oh my God. So they get TLDRs?
Pretty much.
TLDRs.
It's a
Physical TLDRs.
Physical. Did everybody get their TLDR? Okay, good. Now we can start this meeting.
Yeah. That's honestly what it is. And then you have the whole situation of what's called pre-screen for companies that aren't doing as well. And then you have industry triage where you take like all the companies within a certain portfolio and then you have to put them against a bunch of metrics and all that. It's just
Sounds
a
like
lot of boring talk. Yeah, lot of fun.
Shoban, what's the latest episode of P4 that you have watched or listened to?
Honestly, I've been listening to a lot of the Draw 4 podcasts.
Oh,
recently.
really?
Yeah, I've been really interested in that for a while now. It's one of those ones where as soon as it shows up, I instantly click play, and then I'm just like listening to it while I'm cooking and just like doing all that stuff. It's good.
I'm glad to hear that. I've been following our metrics on iTunes and Podomatic, and on iTunes it tells you the popularity of the episode. The past several weeks, the popularity has gone up by a small margin each episode.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
Yeah, and P4 has been doing pretty similarly on the metrics as well. Like, both podcasts are growing right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you guys have been putting out, like, consistent content and everything, and it's, like, you have your standards on how everything's going, and it's great.
Until Joseph leaves us.
I just got done recording for like an hour 25 on the new episode of Draw 4 because the new set's coming out. And we had a level 2 judge on to talk about the rules of the new set.
That's
Nice.
a big podcast.
Yeah, I mean, the pro players that have their own podcast, like Limited Resources, which has like Hall of Famers in it, they did their limited set review, and just doing one color was an hour and a half.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Like, they went in depth. We kept it pretty short as far as that goes. We kept it down to an hour 25 for the episode, but I'll easily be able to cut that down to an hour 10. But sometimes when you have a random long episode, it tends to go over well.
The crazy thing I always found, at least like talking about the Draw 4 podcast with me, is I've actually never played Magic the Gathering ever before. But for some reason, like, I just keep I keep listening to all of it because a lot of the discussions that you guys have actually relate to not just like card games or games in general, but just things. Like your last Draw 4 episode where you were talking about burning out. It's such a issue that occurs with everything people do that I actually like took some of those ideas and used it for like trying to get over like creative burnout when it comes to working on mixes.
I'm glad to hear that. We all hit our burnout points. I hit them multiple times a year. There's always a way to bounce back, but you have to kind of take a step back for a little bit. Alright, so let's move on to our final thing, if that's okay. Because
we'll stop stroking the ego and go into the...
No, you want to talk about stroking ego, I go to my local game store and people are like, I read your most recent article, I loved it, or your podcast is great, and I'm like, yay. Okay, so we're going to do a table reading as advertised last week. Well, I guess today is when the episode came out. But anyway, as advertised, we're doing a table reading with Shoban. We are doing the opening scene of Serenity. Who has not seen Serenity?
I haven't.
What?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
But yes, I know of it.
Please,
He hasn't
please.
done the Animatrix or Halo Legends. He hasn't played any games.
You guys need to watch Firefly. You guys need to watch Serenity. I am so serious about this, and it would only take like a few days, maybe even 2
Dude,
days.
I've watched all of Firefly and Serenity so many times.
It's so good. It's so quotable.
Probably don't even need the script.
Yeah, probably don't. Okay, so we're doing the opening scene of Serenity. During this scene, the ship they don't know whether the ship's going to crash or not. So, Tristan, you're going to get to play 2 characters.
Alright.
You're playing 2 small roles, but you're going to be playing Pedro as Simon Tam,
I'll do my best.
and you'll be RoboCop as Kaylee. Now, they're both at the end, but it just seemed to fit best. Alex, you actually get to carry the scene this time.
God damn it.
You're going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger as Captain Malcolm Reynolds. He's the captain of the ship.
What I like to point out is I get to be Arnold Schwarzenegger every time we have something to do with space.
Hey, that's true. It's just it's your signature role. I felt like bringing it back. I felt like that would be a great Malcolm Reynolds.
You're Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And I want to point out, Malcolm Reynolds is played by Nathan Fillion. So if you've ever watched Castle or Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog, that's Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Okay, so Malachi, you're going to be Zoe. That is Wash's wife. And she served in the war with Mal. You're going to be a pet owner scolding her dog. Like, what did you just do? And as always, feel free.
Very fabulous.
If you want, sure, you can be like with Fifi the dog or something.
Bad dog.
Own it, Malachi. Own it.
And as always, and Shoban, this goes for you as well, feel free to improvise. And I'm going to be the pilot, Wash, and I'm Alan Rickman. So I've got to channel my inner Alan Rickman. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
He's Potter Puppet Pals, Rickman.
Yeah, sort of.
I found the source of the ticking, guys!
And then finally, Shoban, you're going to be Jane Cobb. Have you ever watched Chuck?
Yeah.
Okay, that is, Jane Cobb was played by the guy who played John Casey.
Okay.
It's a young John Casey, essentially, but you're a melodrama villain. You get to go overboard with it, like twirl the mustache, mwahaha, tie the girl to the railroad tracks.
Okay, I'm just gonna give a disclaimer right now. Yesterday and the past few days, I've been watching a lot of Phantom of the Opera, and I've been watching a lot of Michael Crawford's performance as in Phantom of the Opera.
Okay, yeah.
So I think my melodrama villain, in my eyes, I might be going for just stage operatic.
Well, yes, melodrama
voice.
is like aside to the audience, methinks and so forth. So whatever you want to do, gads and curses if you want.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Serenity opening scene, the Steadicam opening sequence where they don't know if the ship's going to crash or not. So Alan Rickman says, "Whoa, did you see that?
Was that the primary buffer panel?
It did seem to resemble."
Did the primary buffer panel just fall off my goddamn shit for no apparent reason?
Looks like.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm speaking in a Scottish Arnold for some reason.
You sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Braveheart.
Go for it. Go for it.
You got this, man.
I thought Kaylee checked our entry complete. I have a very clear memory of it.
Yeah, well, if she doesn't give us some extra flow from the engine room to offset the burn-through, this landing is gonna get pretty interesting.
Define interesting.
Oh god, we're all gonna die.
Oh god, this is gonna be difficult.
Listen, the captain. There's a little problem with our entry sequence. We may experience slight turbulence and then explode. Can you save the vector?
I'm doing it. That's not enough. Kaylee,
just get us on the ground.
That part will happen pretty definitely.
We are going to explode? I don't want to explode.
Jane, how many weapons you plan on bringing? You only got 2 arms!
You're puffing, by the way.
A lot.
It's Arnold. Deal with it.
Okay. I just get excitable as to choose. Like to have my options open.
Mwahaha.
I don't plan on any shooting taking place during this job.
Well, what you plan and what takes place ain't ever exactly been similar.
No grenades.
Oh.
No grenades! Ah!
Are we crashing again?
Talk to your husband. Is the mule prepped?
Good to go, sir. Just loading her up now. Are those grenades?
Captain doesn't want them.
Oh.
We're robbing the place. We're not occupying it.
Now you sound like you're a gay guy, like going shopping for shoes. We're robbing the place, honey. We're not occupying it. Especially not in those shoes.
Kylie, what in the sphincter of hell are you playing at? We got the primary buffer.
Everything's shiny, Captain. Not to fret. I am apprehending the villain now.
You told me that entry couplings would hold for another week.
That was 6 months ago, Captain. I informed you.
My ship don't crash. If she crashes, you crashed her. Doctor, guess I need to get Enoch before we hit planet side.
Thank you.
Bit of a rocky ride. Nothing to worry about.
I'm not worried about it.
Fear is nothing to be ashamed of, Doc. I'm gonna pump you up.
There it is.
This is not fear. This is anger. I'm very angry. Yeah.
Well, it's kinda hard to tell the one from the other. Face like yours.
I imagine if it were fear, my eyes would be wider, I think.
I'll look for that next time.
You went Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I think maybe my eyes would be wider. I was thinking about something else.
I thought I'd do the best I could.
Well, that was fun. And now
Did so many nationalities for Arnold Schwarzenegger in that.
I don't want my freedom.
I had Scottish. I'm pretty sure I had Russian in there at one point.
We need Australian Arnold on the set now.
In Soviet Russia, you put the cookie down.
The cookie eats you.
All right, that was fun.
Serenity table reading. Good job, everyone.
Go watch Firefly. Go watch Serenity.
I thought it started in the ship where they were when the Doc was getting her sister out of the ship.
The scene that you're referring to, Malachi, is right after that scene.
Oh, okay.
He's talking about when he was watching. It's the actual bounty hunter watching the
Yes.
of Simon breaking her out, which completely conflicts with the story of the series.
It does
Gotcha.
completely conflict in every way.
I never understood why they did that.
They were just trying to make Simon seem a little bit more adventurous, which they didn't necessarily have to do.
No, I liked him just the way he was.
Oh,
But I'm gonna watch Serenity now, and I'm gonna see that scene and be like, it's not as good as what we did.
oh God, oh
It needs
God,
for Arnold.
we're all going to die.
It needs more Arnold and Alan Rickman.
Oh God, we're all gonna die.
No, Wash is so much better in Firefly and Serenity than I could ever do with Alan Rickman. He is the best thing. All right, so we need to
We're
say goodnight.
flying this thing.
Oh yeah,
that would be me.
that would be me.
I better go. Some people jungle geese.
Ah.
Goslings, baby geese.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. All right.
Before this gets out of hand.
Yes, we will say goodbye to this podcast, and we shall call it This Podcast.
Shoban, did you have a good time doing the table reading?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
If we were to have a panel at RTX where we did a table reading, would you go?
count me in. I'm already there. Like,
Oh, right.
let's just
You could DJ.
done. I'm actually legitimately bringing my turntables and mixer and everything down. Like I've looked at shipping prices and everything too. And
Nice.
The 72-hour thing. So you'll have to just find a way to roll yourself and everybody who's dancing with you to that animal.
We'll get a rolly platform and put him on it.
there you go. Get me a generator too, so then I can just plug everything in there, and then just like replace the batteries every once in a while. We'll just be the moving party.
We should just suspend him on a platform from a crane and then just lift him up to whatever room we need his music in.
No, we'll put him on top of a truck. and he'll have a flaming electric guitar.
A flatbed truck.
So that we can roll it from venue to venue and then lift him up to the proper room.
No, I was thinking
like the
more.
guitar guy from Mad Max.
I was
right?
thinking Mad Max, yeah.
But my turntable spit out fire. Just
Yes! Every time you drop the bass.
Google goggles so no sudden sandstorms in Austin prevent the music from flowing.
Yeah, and I'm just like tied to just like two poles where I'm just like bouncing everywhere.
We're just gonna chain you to the turntable.
We're gonna
But
do
if
this.
if a sandstorm did start happening for some reason in Austin, Texas, you'd have to play Sandstorm.
Oh no, of course. Like I'm already playing.
You mean Darude Sandstorm?
Yes. Sorry.
All right.
Meatspin.com, everyone. Meatspin.com.
It's terrible. Terrible. I don't know you guys.
All right.
I don't know, you guys. Leaves.
We love you, Malachi. Thanks for putting up with us. Shoban, we enjoyed having you on to talk about chicken wings and Serenity.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, man. Like this is great.
Yeah,
And
we
lawyers speak policing.
we had our quota of
Yeah.
Shoban. It'll last a while.
It's true. It's true.
You want to say goodnight to the audience as the guest?
Sure. Hopefully I don't mess it up this time like I did last time. Where I remember I hammed it up as much as possible and then it just no payback.
No, you did not ham it up nearly as bad as Rick Guerrero did.
That's true. He just took it and just ran with it. Like, I could never reach that level. Okay. Conclusion. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Player 4 Podcast. Thank you and good night.
Good night, everyone.
As
Drop the
always,
mic.
concise.
Goodbye.
Good night, Caboose.
Good night, Joseph.
Good night, Malachi.
Good night, honey.
In those shoes? I don't think so.
And now we play Drew Sandstorm. Done.
Da-da-da-da.
Da, 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 da.